The top 15 HTML elements that you must know to create any website. First, what you guys need to know is going to be the HTML element itself. This is going to declare to the browser that yes, this is going to be a HTML web page. And how you want to do that is type out exactly what I have here. Make sure you include your opening bracket and closing bracket for each element that we learned here today. And to specify that this is going to be an HTML page, type doc type in all capital letters HTML, and then make sure you have your closing tag for your HTML element here with your backslash and then HTML again. And some are actually self-closing elements, and I'll explain exactly what I mean by that in today's video. So you want to make sure that everything that you create here today is in between these two HTML tags, and I will be throwing around these terms a lot today. Element refers to an element like I have here, HTML. That's our HTML element. A tag refers to the opening or closing portion of your element like I have here, just to clarify that point. Next, we're going to have our head element. The head element is going to include everything that our browser needs to know about our website, but this information is not going to be displayed on our actual web page, which I have open over here on the right side of the screen. From here, we want to learn the meta tag. The meta tag basically means any additional data that your browser needs to know. These meta elements will include the author of the web page. The meta element is actually going to be self-closing, meaning you only need to have a bracket followed by meta, followed by a closing bracket. Nothing is actually displayed over here because we haven't actually created anything yet. This is all just information that our browser is going to use. Next, the title element. This one is going to need a opening and closing tag like we have here. And what I'm going to title this is simply example. And this is not going to display anything on our web page. What it will do though, once we save it and refresh it, is it will display the title of our web page here in the browser tab. So that's essential for every HTML web page that you create. Every HTML page needs these specific elements that we're going over right now. And this you can change to whatever you want on any page that you create. The link element include our href tag. So now we have our link element with the href. Normally this is going to actually link to a style sheet, which again we will get into more in the next video. Today we're just going to put a hashtag and show that the link element is a self-closing element. So these are the essential portions that you need to any website on any web page when you're using HTML. Now what we want to do is actually get into the fun portion by adding our body element. And this one is going to need a opening and closing tag. Anything you want displayed on the web page needs to go inside the body. Next, we're going to move on to the H1 element. This is going to be your heading element. So this needs to be included one time and one time only on every single HTML page that you create. The one that you can reuse though as many times as you want is going to be the H2 element here. So this is going to be your heading 2 element. Next, we're going to show another way to add text, which is going to be the paragraph element, also known as the P element. So this is commonly used to add additional text below headings or to describe products or to add article text. Save this. Now we actually have stuff displaying on our page, which is pretty cool. This is going to be our H1 element. This is going to be our H2 element, and this is going to be our P element, div element. The div element confuses a lot of beginners. This is really going to be anything you want it to be, and what I mean by that is you can put text in it like I'm going to do as an example, but most of the time div elements are used to create space between other elements. So let's say I want some space or I want to create a grid somewhere. That's what you would use a div element element for, but this is highly used when creating HTML pages because you have so much space to do whatever you want to do with that element. All you need to know for now is how to use this div element and how to add it to your HTML page. An element that needs to start being used a lot more in HTML is going to be the section element. And as you guys can see, before I continue, all of these elements have a opening tag and a closing tag. The section is going to be extremely similar to the div element, but the reason I always recommend using the section element first before you use a div is because you want to keep your code organized. You can use this to add styling to your page. You can use this to add text. You can use this for whatever you like, but for now, just practice by going ahead and adding some text like I'm doing here. Next, what I want to go over is the main element. This element, again, is going to add another level of organization to your code and make you look like a professional, even if you are a beginner, because what the main is going to do is it's going to specify, here's the main portion of my page. So let's say this is going to be a restaurant and this is going to be the menu page. All the menu items that you have, that's going to be the main portion of that page. Now I want to go back to our section element up here and show you guys the anchor element, also known as the A element, and it's simply typed like this with an opening and closing tag. And now we're actually going to take our text here and put it within this element. Now you guys can get a better understanding of actually including a element inside of another element. So here we have our section, which is the parent, meaning the first element, and then we have the child element, which is inside of our section element right here. And what the anchor element is going to do is it's actually going to let you add links, and you can link to another page of your HTML website or maybe an external link. So what we're going to do for now is just add a hashtag symbol here, but we're not actually going to link to anything. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit save, refresh, and now you guys can see it actually makes my text here a link. When you click on it, it's not going to do anything because, again, we're not telling it to go anywhere. But if I were to put a link to another web page here, it would actually take us to that page once we click on this. The last element that you guys need to know is the footer, and this is going to be at the bottom of each one of your HTML pages. This is going to contain social media icons. This is going to contain a site map that details each link in each page on your website. For now, we're just going to add text and not any styling, but now you guys can see over here what everything looks like. Obviously, this is a highly simplified overview of the essential elements. There's a lot more that you guys can do than just this with these elements. But if this is your first website or your 1000th website, 95% of the time you are exclusively going to be using these elements. Sometimes you will need to go beyond these elements. If you guys have any questions, reach out to us through this video today or go to our website at kalmanwebdesign.com and we will help you out free of charge. I hope this helps out, and again, stay tuned for where we take this and start adding the top 10 essential CSS styles. Have a good day.